Originally, I was going to just do a video simply on the history of animation, but as I was researching, I found that there is so much history, I needed a tighter focus. So today I'm just going to focus on what technologies and new ideas have improved or changed animation over the years. I'm going to try to do that. But still, it's a lot, and it's so... If I don't cover everything and you know some things from history and you're like, what? Why is that not there? I couldn't put everything in history in a video, otherwise it would take as many years as it took for all the history to happen. To start us off, we need to go all the way back to 1832 when the Kinetoscope was invented. It was actually invented by two different people at the same time in different places. It was very simple, just a circle with slightly alternating pictures going around it. The viewer would spin the wheel while holding it up to a mirror, peering through the slits. In this way, the pictures would appear to be moving. A little while later, in 1865, a small advancement is made by multiple people, including an 18-year-old at a university. It is called the zoetrope. A GIF-like succession of pictures still spin around, but now they are on strips of paper placed inside a spinning drum and are again viewed through slits. 1877. The zoetrope design is improved by Emile Renaud. I'm not good at pronouncing names. I'm very sorry if I butcher like 90% of the names in this video. But he is in France. And the Emile is spelled without an E. You need to remember that for later. Anyway, for better viewing, he added mirrors at the center of the drum, which reflected the revolving images. He called his improved machine a Kinetoscope. I think it looks really cool, and I want to make one now. Maybe I'll get to do that in the future. But anyway, Emile was not satisfied with the enchanting effects that the Kinetoscope gave, so he started giving his drawings a black background and made a second image to serve as a backdrop. The moving image was reflected with mirrors and then viewed through a little theater. And then that was called the theater Kinetoscope. So he improved it. It was the upgraded version of the Kinetoscope. But that was still not awesome enough for him. So in 1892, he created the theater Optic. The short picture strips were changed to extended long band of 500 small painted slides, which is now known as a predecessor to film. They had a black border like film and a light shining through them like film, and even little holes used to move it on the spinny things like film. The only reason I think it doesn't count as film is that the images were painted on it directly instead of captured by camera. To project his cartoon, Emile used lights and mirrors. Two images were projected onto the screen at once, the background and the moving characters. Similar concept to his theater Kinetoscope. The whole show would be about 15 minutes long and had a live musical accompaniment with it. 1893. Now here's a name you should know. Thomas Edison. He made the Kinetoscope. It is considered the first viewable moving film, even though in my mind, Emile Renaud should have that title. He can't since his animations wasn't using official film. So yeah, anyway, to use it, you peeped through a magnifying glass into a box looped with 50 feet of film. A small light flashed behind the film for each image so that you wouldn't see the film rolling up or transitioning to the next image, giving the illusion of motion. Oh, and these kinetoscopes were inside a place called a Nickelodeon. This is an interesting random fact for you, okay? Nickelodeon you might know as the channel of kids shows, but it actually was a place and has meaning, and it is a thing, and I don't know, this blew my mind when I figured it out. Nickel at the beginning of the name is a word for 5 cents, and Odeon is a Greek word for roofed over theater. So it was a 5 cents roofed over theater because it probably cost 5 cents to go in there. But yeah, that's very interesting, and when I found that out, my brain exploded all over the place. 1890s comes the Luminaire brothers. They're really cool, really tight bros. They took the concept as a kinetoscope by Edison and improved it so that it could be projected. It had a sharper image, and they made it powered by a hand crank instead of electrical so that it was even portable, and they called it the cinematograph. 1897 is the year that the very first official stop-motion animation was made, the Humpty Dumpty Circus. It was made using the jointed dolls from the daughter of the producer. No footage remains of it, and hardly any information can be found about it. It is pretty much faded from history. And if you don't know what stop motion is, it's where you move an object a small fraction, one frame at a time, and take a picture every frame. Then at the end the frames are put together, one after another, and boom! It's animation. 1908. Oh look, we're finally to the 1900s. We are to what a lot of people like to consider the first animated film. Although after finding out about Emil's Theater Optic, I'd beg to differ. It is the first film to be shot on actual film. So maybe it's technicalities. The process for making it was definitely much different than Emil's though. But guess what? This guy's name is frickin' Emil too, but with an E at the end. Anyway, Emil with an E's animation is called Phantasmagory. It is only 1 minute and 20 seconds long, and he did it by making 700 drawings on paper, and he used an illuminated plate of glass like a light table to be able to see the before image as he was working. Then he shot the images onto negative film. Chalkboard cartoonists were popular at the time, so the negative look made his animation look like a chalk drawing. 1914. Gertie the Dinosaur by Winsor McKay is known for making cartoons more liked and popular by the people, and the first to use keyframing in his animation. Whereas past animators had drawn the next image in the sequence directly, McKay would draw the most definable image of movement first, then go back and do the in-between ones. That is known as doing the in-betweens or tweening. To help save time, he was also the first to use loops in his animations, something that is used to save the lives of overworked animators all over the world today. He is also the first to use registration marks at the corners of his images to maintain stability when taking a picture of a frame, because it helps him to make sure he lines it up just right and things don't get wonky. 1915. Max Fleischer is the first to use the rotoscoping technique in his short animated series Out of the Inkwell. Rotoscoping is where you film a live person or thing, then take each frame and use it as a base and draw over it by hand. Disney is known for being the first person to really use it well and in a big motion picture, namely Snow White in 1937. Before I get started talking about Disney though, I want to say something about Russian animator, oh gosh, I'm going to ruin his name, Ladislas Starvich. Yes, this is, just read his name, I can't say it. Who created the first full-length stop-motion picture called The Tale of the Fox, roughly in 1930. The exact release date is debatable because of delays with being able to link the sound for the official release and re-releases in multiple languages. But Starvich had been doing short stop and motion films since 1912. There is something a bit extra creepy about his films though. He originally wasn't going to do stop motion. All he wanted was to make a short of two beetles fighting. But when the beetles were set up and had lights on them, they went right to sleep. And Starvich was all, What is this? I want them to be fighting. Ah! Well, sir, they're nocturnal, so when you shine the light on them, they just go to sleep, so... Ah! Somebody get me the killing machine. Yes, yes. Now let's replace its insides with little wires, so I can make them do whatever I want. Ha ha ha, yes. Now I have supreme power. He used real bugs and took out their insides and controlled them. That's creepy, isn't it? Okay. But the funny thing of it all is that people were so amazed with the effects of his short films, they actually thought that he trained the bugs to do what he wanted. Not that he actually killed them and tore out their insides. Yeah, silly people.
Butterfly. No, that's a flower.
Okay, now let's talk about Disney, who doesn't animate dead corpses. He has done a lot when it comes to animation and changing the industry and art form. When I started researching, oh my gosh, I can talk. I was surprised to find he had an old animation company called Laughograms that only lasted for a few years between 1921 and 1923. The animation from it is not what you would expect from Disney because of its poor quality. So if anybody was thinking Disney was born imaginable animator, he was not, and he got there over time. But now let's talk about Snow White. It was the first movie ever shot with Disney's multiplane camera, which was revolutionary for creating depth in 2D films, and I'll explain to you how it works. First, you'll need to see just a normal plane camera to compare, and to see why it's not good. And this is a clip from Disney himself, and where he's showing this, and whenever it zooms up on the moon in the background, the moon shouldn't get larger. It should stay the same size, even though the things in the foreground would get larger. So that's one of the faults of the one plane camera, and they're showing that the 2D image and it's not going to work that way. But if they break up the components of the scene in the distances, whenever they move the plates closer to the camera, basically like moving the camera, then it will make more sense visually. And here is the actual camera. It's actually up and down, not straight forward, and it's very large. And whenever the scene is filmed on the camera, it makes a lot more sense as the pieces move, and it has much more feeling of depth. And you got to see this though whenever he shows a scene from Bambi. So here are the plates they've painted on, these glass plates with oils. So these are actual oil paintings they are putting inside the machine. Put it in there, Joe. Oh yeah, get it in the machine. Then there's little wheel turners to get it in the right place, sort of like a microscope. And there's a cameraman who directs the people below, and they move it all about. It looks so cool. And then look at it at the very end when they get the scene all together. They move it a tiny bit each time and take a frame, and then they move it a tiny bit again and take a frame, and that's how they get it. But oh man, it's so beautiful. Why did Disney stop doing 2D movies? Why? And by Disney, I mean the company, not just the men. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Look at that. Okay, I'm gonna go through a list of Disney-ness. He's important, but I don't want to spend the whole video on Disney. So, here we go. The beautiful way that he was sure all the cells were painted raised the bar for animators.
Gloves, because we don't want the cells to get damaged, and also the gloves help us glide our hand on the cell. Once we inked all the lines on top, we flip the cell, and then we paint the cell on the back. Once the cell is inked and painted, then the cell goes to the multiplane camera to get shot. And this is what we see in film. It takes 24 cells to make a second of the film.
And using actors, not just to put the voice of a character, but to act out entire scenes in the films for artists, reference, and rotoscoping made his characters look natural and believable.
One good turn deserves another. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm looking for a white rabbit, so, if you don't mind...
Eh? Oh!
His style influenced many people, including animators and artists all the way in Japan, like Osamu Tezuka, the creator of Astro Boy. And I think we can all agree he's a great storyteller.